Paranormal in Pennsylvania may discuss topics such as suicide, murder, and other potentially upsetting things. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, and welcome to Paranormal in Pennsylvania,
where we discuss history and haunts.
Today's story takes us to one of the oldest taverns in America. I'm Sarah.
And I'm David.
Let's get into it. So today we're going to be talking about City Tavern, and it's in the old city of Philadelphia. We went here, but it actually was closed, unfortunately. We were still able to walk around to the grounds, though, because they had a garden, and we did bring the EMF reader and tried to get as close to the interior of the building as we could.
Yeah, unsuccessfully. However, the area around the building itself was really pretty. It was almost like a small little public park.
Yeah.
Maybe that's very common knowledge, and I sound very stupid right now.
Well, we don't live in Philadelphia.
Yeah, but I did find it interesting that the building, or actually, I'm jumping into the history, so I'll let you talk about the history.
Okay. Well, keep it at the top of your mind in case I don't hit everything. So, City Tavern was established in 1773 in Philadelphia. It's located at the corner of 2nd and Walnut Street, and it's currently a museum. There was a fire there in the 1800s that resulted in the building being torn down and then rebuilt. The building wasn't actually torn down until 20 years after the fire happened, and it was finally rebuilt and reconstructed in 1976 for the bicentennial celebration. And the 1976 version is said to be fairly accurate reconstruction, so much so that the ghosts can't tell the difference.
Yeah, so I was going to mention the 76 rebuild of that. It seems very interesting to me. So what was it before it was totally rebuilt again? Was it still an active building, or...
I don't know.
The details of it seem confusing with the fire burning it down.
I think it was an empty lot.
Oh, interesting. So
I think it was an empty lot, and then the city took over in 1976 for the bicentennial.
Okay.
I think. No one quote me on this. Feel free to fact check me. The tavern did serve many significant historical figures, including Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, and John Adams. It was said to be one of the most popular bars in the city during the birth of America. Not only for the Americans, though, because during British occupation, they actually took over the tavern and partied there. And then, ironically, when George Washington won, he celebrated his inauguration here. So
that's funny.
Feels like a big FU to the British.
But also, probably he had the, reputation at that point of being a great place to party.
I'm sure. It sounds like it was pretty lit.
Yeah, it could be two things.
Yeah. So, moving on to the ghost stories, because clearly there's so much history here. A tavern that's older than America. There are two main ghosts that are deemed responsible for most of the activity here, a bride and a waiter. And there may be more than just these two ghosts, but these are the most common, local legends. So we'll get into each of them, starting with the bride, because I think she's the most popular ghost there. In the 1800s, when there was that fire at the tavern, there was actually a bride getting ready there. It was where they were getting married. And the bride and her party were getting ready upstairs, and the groom and his party was downstairs. So they were going to do a great reveal, I guess. And a candle fell over, and in the scuffle to put the candle out, an oil lamp was tipped over. And that was pretty much the end of that, because the room was engulfed in flames, and specifically the curtains caught, and so it shot up. And the groom, it is said, he tried to run up the stairs and break down the door to free his bride, but the bride and her whole party perished in the fire. Pretty sad wedding day.
Yeah, that is sad for him.
Yeah. So, then, as we covered in the history, the building was demolished and rebuilt. There is a section that is specifically said to be haunted by this bride, and there are a few conflicting stories on her, so I'm just going to say all of them. So, people say that they see the bride in this section, and they can confirm this because allegedly there are photographs of the bride hanging up around the tavern. So people can say, Oh yes, this is indeed the ghost that I saw, and visitors can confirm. She also appears in photos almost as commonly as she appears in person, if not more. And very specifically, she'll show up in the viewfinder of photographers that are there taking wedding photos if wedding parties are at the tavern, which makes sense.
Something I am wondering though is, was this the first occurrence or like the oldest recorded occurrence of a ghost? Or for the woman dying in the fire, was there anything that happened like before that we know of in there in terms of like death or anything?
No.
Oh, so part of me was thinking, ooh, what if it wasn't just an accident that knocked the first candle over?
Oh, like there was another bride?
Like another ghost or something.
That's spooky.
But of course, most likely this was actually just an accidental bump into a candle and things got out of hand.
I mean, I think in the age of oil lamps, fires were much more prevalent.
Yeah, so I think that was definitely the case, but I like my spooky.
Yeah. And the conflicting part of this story is about the bride showing up in photos. So as we said, she shows up in the viewfinders, but some people say she actually shows up in wedding photos standing right next to the bride as an apparition, if not blocking her. And other people say she's never actually been captured in a photo. So it just depends on what you believe. I choose to take the petty story of she shows up next to the bride.
Yeah, so it's not live for the drama because she's dead, but
It's die for the drama.
Haunt for the drama?
Haunt for the drama. That's a good way to put it. New catchphrase. Haunt for the drama. So the other person is a waiter, and he shows up in colonial dress and is said to haunt the tavern pretty much around the clock. He was hit during a duel there and died unexpectedly, so he was just serving tables and was, what's it called? Unexpected fire? What's it called when you accidentally shoot someone?
An accidental shooting?
No, I don't. There's a word for it. Maybe it'll come to my mind.
You're not thinking friendly fire.
Not friendly fire. Not a casualty. It's like when you don't mean to hit someone, but you do because they're standing there. Neither Erica nor David can think of the word.
I can't think of the word either. Unintended casualty.
No.
Crossfire.
No. Okay. Anyways, so because of the nature of his death, he is said to haunt the tavern because he has a lot of unresolved stuff there. And his ghost is seen all throughout the tavern because he operates as a waiter like he would have. Some people say he can even be seen from the outside through the windows. And as you know, we were trying to look through the windows and we took tons of pictures of the outside. I did not capture anything, and I don't think either of us saw his apparition.
No, I did not see it. And I also wouldn't imagine we'd see it during the daylight.
Yeah.
I mean, sure,
True.
people give reports of that, but all the common occurrences are at night usually, or evening.
Right. The other ghost so those are the two main, but there's another ghost, and this is a ghost in a white shirt with blood splatter. And he's sometimes seen falling to the floor and then disappearing, almost as if he disintegrates into the floorboards. Sometimes a scream will accompany the vision of him, but reports vary on the auditory haunting. And interestingly enough, it's unknown if this is the waiter presenting in a different fashion or if it's an additional ghost.
Yeah, my first thought was that the waiter who was hit?
I would think, maybe. But if it was a tavern at this time, there could have been a lot of casualties there.
How so?
Just like bar fights and stuff.
Oh, sure. I mean, yeah, and with it burning down, well, I don't. You wouldn't exactly keep records of like bar fights there, but I believe that bar fights certainly happen. I don't know if would they enforce murder a little bit better, or
I don't know. America wasn't America.
Yeah, fair.
And I'm sure tensions were high.
And record keeping not as good.
Exactly. So, who knows? Again, this next story links back potentially to the waiter, There are reports of silverware being pushed off tables and table settings being rearranged. So this has been attributed to the waiter as he's cleaning up or just in general interrupting the diners. But other people attribute the silverware being pushed off tables to unruly spirits who don't want to be bothered by the living dining there. So some people think it's like a at capacity building, basically, with all the ghosts there. No space for the living.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've ever heard that.
Neither. Yes, correct. I don't think we've ever heard that. It's a really cool concept, though, of a place it's not one ghost trying to keep people out, but it's just a content gathering of so many ghosts.
Right. If it was actually a place of like merrymaking and, joyous occasion.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah, me too. So, as I said, we took the EMF reader around. We took pictures. We didn't get any significant EMF readings. We didn't see anything or capture anything in pictures. But as I stated, it was closed. I think it's closed for renovation. So this is a place that I would potentially like to revisit when we can go inside, especially because the history is so incredible.
Yeah, I thought it was really neat looking building. Definitely looked like very older, right? Mm-hmm. So like good job on the reconstruction. But I really enjoyed the backside of it with the little park.
Garden.
Obviously, like going inside, my opinion would be very different.
Right.
But the little garden area behind it with benches, like public benches and such, was quite nice. It was very peaceful back there.
And I wonder if that garden was there when it was a tavern.
Yeah, I also wonder that.
Probably not.
If the building itself was recreated, that doesn't mean the grounds were recreated.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess that answers the question. Would we go to this place of paranormal phenomena? I would absolutely go. I think it would be really cool to dine there or get a drink there. Both. And be in the footsteps of our founding fathers. Hopefully have an interaction with the waiter ghost. I don't know if we would really summon the bride since we're already married.
Yeah, that wouldn't work. Oh, maybe. I don't know. You could always give it a shot. But
just
I think
wear a wedding dress.
Yeah, I was about to say, let's just have you wear a wedding dress and let's go to the establishment and be like, hey, what room did the wife die in? We just want to grab a quick picture in there. No particular reason.
Ooh, it feels weird. I would not do that. But I would like to eat here and go inside when it opens again.
But which part of that was weird to you? Wearing the wedding dress or taking the picture in the room where the bride died?
Yes.
Okay.
We've already been married twice, kind of, because of the pandemic. I don't need another wedding dress.
Fair, I guess.
Yeah.
Missed opportunities, guys. I'm sorry.
So that's all that we have on City Tavern. Thank you for tuning in for this week's episode of Paranormal in Pennsylvania, and tune in next Thursday to see what hauntings we discuss next.
Spooky.